Brittany Bivens, CBS 42. With regards to gambling, I know Bentley set up a commission. What are your thoughts on gambling going forward? Is it inevitable that it's going to happen in Alabama, and how do you want to
Well, gambling is a big word, and there's one thing to talk about the lottery, and there's another thing to talk about casino gambling and all of that. You know, the lottery is very popular in Alabama. A lot of people are for the lottery. And if it were just a pure, simple lottery, that'd probably have some merit. But there's no such thing as a pure, simple lottery. Section 65 of the Constitution, I believe it is, forbids a lottery. So if you're going to have a lottery, you've got to first repeal that. And if you repeal that, then it opens the door for all types of gaming. So I hadn't seen the report of the committee that was appointed or whatever, but gambling is not necessarily a stabilizing form of financial resources.
Governor Ivey, Michael Dellman,
Hey, Michael.
WSFA here locally. There's some major pieces of legislation still out there, namely the prison bill, which is a major issue, as you know. Your predecessor was really pushing a prison plan. Where do you stand on us potentially building new prisons?
Well, certainly we need to have prison issue addressed. It's not just building new buildings, but it's also mental health and staffing and one thing and another. So I hope we can get that bill that came out of the Senate moving forward. I hope that can be addressed.
And what about Medicaid as well? I mean, there's a question over RCOs and transitioning to that maybe later this year. Where do you think we should do, and where do we go with Medicaid as costs continue to rise?
Well, that is a serious issue that we've all known. As you know, if Medicaid and corrections combined consume 66% of the state's general fund right now. And if nothing is done about those two programs and or the budgets, less than 5 years, those two functions will take over consume the entire general fund. So Medicaid and corrections, prisons, both of them are very important. I think the RCO plan has some merit, and I know Senator Greg Reed is very high on the report, the information they got when they went to Washington recently. So I'll be very supportive of finding some workable solutions that enable us to be effective and provide the right kind of care. But we don't need to deny anybody anything, but at the same time, there's got to be a better, affordable way to do it. And we need to keep people healthy. And, you know, everybody can do something to improve their health. Everybody can walk around the block. Everybody can eat vegetables instead of sweets. So it's a personal thing that the people of Alabama need to address as much as they can as well.
Yes, Governor Ivey, Ken Curtis, WTVY and WRGX at Dothan. Give us a perspective through the eyes of now Governor Kay Ivey of what you've seen over the past few days and weeks here in Montgomery, how it made you feel, and give us, where you heading into this, how you will be good, if you think you will, for the state of Alabama after the turmoil that we've been through.
Well, no doubt there's been a dark cloud hanging over our great state. The people of the world, much less the nation, have all their eyes on Alabama, and it's not for the right reasons. And that's very troubling. The people have lost trust in their government leaders, not only in Alabama, but in Washington. And so my past 14 years has been devoted to public service, and I've not focused on myself. So that's going to continue. I mean,
were you embarrassed by Governor Bentley?
His actions were not complimentary to any of us.
Governor Ivey, Lauren Walsh, ABC 3340 in Birmingham. You talked about Medicaid. Do you plan to make any major changes moving forward, specifically Medicaid expansion?
All that kind of stuff has got to be evaluated and looked at. I don't support Medicaid expansion right now for sure. But the whole program is under possible change and modification, so we'll take it as it comes and evaluate it very thoroughly.
Governor Ivey, Kim Chandler, Associated Press. To follow up on the question about the Senate election, are you saying you haven't made your mind to leave it where Bentley called it or call a special election? I know you're getting pressure from both sides on what to do on that.
Well, I've got to balance the two issues. I know the concerns. I've heard the concerns, you know, and those are serious concerns. But at the same time, it would require $15 million straight out of the general fund, which is not this. I've got to balance that. And I will do that in a timely fashion.
Governor Ivey, Andrew James with Alabama News Network here in Montgomery. Can you speak to some of the concerns about ALEA right now? There's obviously a bill that would abolish the organization altogether.
In my judgment, ALEA is fine, except we hadn't had the right management.
So you,
So now it's my job to find the right management, or manager, to manage this huge department, because its concept of consolidation makes sense. But I'm not sure we've had the right management team in there. And so now I'll have the opportunity to address that, and I hopefully will make that, make good choices for the ALEA, because I don't think we need to abolish it.
What about Spencer Collier?
What about Spencer?
Yeah, what about bringing him back? He lost his job because he refused to lie to the governor.
Well, all positions are under review and consideration, but my job is to find a competent manager of experience. It's a big department. You've got lots of dollars, lots of people, lots of policies. So it takes somebody that's skilled in those areas as well.
Governor, you haven't had, you've only been on the job for 3 days in here, but let me ask you this. You have talked about transparency, you talked about righting the ship of state.
No, well, making it steady.
You're making it steady, making it steady. Bigger picture, do you have ideas about where you're going to go with your agenda as Governor Ivey in Alabama in the coming months?
Right now, this legislative session's ongoing. It's getting sort of short-ended, so I will just support the legislative leaders in their efforts of the programs that we know are going now. But then I'll make, in the next legislative session, I'll have some definite proposals of my own.
We'll take 2 more questions.
Governor Ivey, Melanie Hogan from WVAS in here in Montgomery. I wanted to ask you about your race relations. When you look at the Legislative Black Caucus and some of the issues that are coming up, what do you hope to tackle?
We're going to, when we can get our heads around all the issues, we'll certainly consider that. But I have good relations with, I hope, all Alabamians.
Governor Ivey?
Yes, sir.
Brian Lyman with The Advertiser. Can you describe, just generally speaking, your political philosophy and your philosophy of government?
Government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. And it's not designed to be self-promoting of any one individual. So it's my job, and I've taken it seriously for 14 years and will continue to do so, to focus on working for the common good, working with our legislative folks. Certainly I know the senators, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, both sides of the aisle, and I also have a good working relationship with the leadership of the Alabama House. So I'm going to have a good open communications with the legislative leaders, and it's going to be open communications with the legislature, and I think that'll be an improvement over what's been there previously.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all, but that has to be the end. The governor has a few words to say.
But y'all, I do thank y'all for coming, and I thank you for caring. I respect your work, and I look forward to getting to know you as a person. And by the way, I've got a wonderful dog. He's a chow. And he looks like a bear, so his name is Bear, but he wears an Auburn collar. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Governor.